Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Healing Conversations. And you're with me, your counselor, Catherine. And in today's conversation, we are looking at the word acceptance. I know the word acceptance comes with a lot of things in our lives. We have accepted things, maybe gifts in our lives from different people. But in today's conversation, we want to look at the word acceptance in relations to the situations or difficult situations that happen to us as human beings. I've decided to talk about this because I've realized that a lot of people are stuck in this stage. They are failing to move on with their lives when something has happened to them. Now, for us to understand the word acceptance, let's just look at this example. I once worked at one of the organizations here in Malawi where we were testing people for HIV virus. Now, when people come for HIV tests, what we were doing was provide pre-test but also post-test counseling. Now, in a nutshell, during the pre-test counseling, you prepare the person or the client that there'll be expected 3 results. The first result is that it's either there'll be the results will come out negative. The second one will be either there'll be positive but also inconclusive. Now, explain each situation and how the person may be able to come to terms with whatever results they are expecting. So during post-test counseling, that means the test has been done. Now you know the results, but you also want to talk and prepare the person to receive what they have gone through or to receive the results. So in that, for example, if you find that the person is positive, you prepare the client to undertake, maybe you prepare the client telling the person about the treatments and everything else. Now, you refer the person to the clinic where they'll be able to look at the medication aspect of it. Now, one part that was really confusing but also made me most of the times as a counselor, by the way, I would think about it was the term acceptance, because we'll try as much as possible to let the person who is HIV positive to accept the situation that they are positive, and therefore they should also be able to adhere to their medication if they go to the clinic. Of course, at the clinic, they also had their own talk that they were doing. Now, when you look at this situation, it sounds simple on the surface, preparing somebody for pre-test but also post-test. But I'm not surprised these days when we say there's a lot of people that are defaulting from taking their medication. People who are HIV positive, and maybe they're defaulting, they're not adhering to their medication. Some of them, it's because their stories that they'll bring for testing are very horrible stories. For example, you find that there's a lady, maybe an elderly lady coming with a letter in her hand, and you read the letter, it's a reference letter that maybe the husband just throw it on the bed, say, okay, you need to go to the clinic, they need to go and check you. And when you come, you find that maybe the husband has got STIs, but the wife has no clue that the husband has STIs and everything else. But because you have to treat all the partners, so the woman have to come for treatment as well. Now imagine such scenarios, and there will be times that maybe even the women will be HIV positive. What I want to highlight here is that it is difficult for this type of a woman to just go into the acceptance stage when they don't fully understand what has happened to them. Remember, there are so many issues involved there. One, it's not only that she's HIV positive, but she also discovers that the husband has cheated. Not just cheated, but has got STIs, but also other infections. So you tell this person, you prepare this person's mind to accept, to jump stages, to say, okay, accept this situation and go and start taking medication. Yes, it makes sense for those practitioners, but for this person, the mind has to get prepared that I'm going into this other phase, but they also have to understand the situation that has happened to them. So when we're talking of this acceptance, we are talking of a situation that has been very difficult. How do you move from being stuck to where you can live productively? For example, like this woman, how do you teach this woman to live productively when all along she thought maybe the husband is faithful, when all along maybe she thought things are okay at home? Now, with all these things, for a person to reach the stage of acceptance, it needs a great deal of learning, but also to accept, to have positive thinking. Acceptance is very closely linked to positive thinking. Now, that was just an example for us to understand what I'm trying to say. The second part, or the second example I want to give is this. How do you accept a situation? In this, let's give an example. You've lost a child, you've lost a husband, you've lost your wife, or somebody so dear to your life. How do you accept that, okay, death occurred? How do you move yourself to start functioning and living a life productively without the person that you loved before? I know it's very difficult. For the people that have been stuck in the grieving process, they would understand what I'm talking about, because it's not easy. Now, sometimes people are stuck because the word acceptance, as simple as it may sound, it has a lot that will come with it. Sometimes acceptance will bring even pain more than the actual event itself. All right. Now, let's give this example. Let's imagine that today I've been diagnosed with cancer. Okay, for me to accept that situation, it will take a great deal, because even if I would say, yeah, I'll take medication, but sometimes the process or the medication itself, it's even more, how can I say it, more difficult, or maybe more painful process, maybe than the actual illness, than the actual disease that is in the body. I cannot talk much about that because I'm not a medical personnel, but I'm just comparing that to accept. We have seen people that have gone to chemotherapy, what they go through, their hair falling off, their bodies are worn out, they're tired, they're exhausted. I believe maybe if even without positivity, many of them would reach a point where they would think it's better to end it now because I'm tired, I'm fed up, I can't do it anymore. Now, with this acceptance, it is the same thing. It doesn't mean that, okay, because my husband has left me, he wants me, he wants divorce, he wants this. It doesn't mean that you're not going to feel pain. Actually, it will be more painful to go through that process for you to reach the healing stage. Now, that's why I find a lot of people are being stuck, or are stuck in the acceptance stage, because they just don't know how to do it, how to experience the pain, how to come with it. That's why I find a lot of people prefer living in denial. That's why I find women, a husband is telling you that I don't want you, I have a wife elsewhere, I have this, I have that. They don't want you. You know the signs, you're trying everything to your best so that you be together, but he doesn't want you, but you still try to convince yourself that he's my husband. Okay, he loves me, I'll do whatever it is to win back my marriage. As long as he left the clothes with me, it means he's still my husband. Maybe someday he'll come back. Yes, I have heard women saying that, okay, he left his clothes, he only took 2 pairs of trousers and a shirt, the rest are with me here. Sometimes, as much as it hurts me, sometimes you just wish to tell the person, say, my friend, go and have a bath, wash your face. This man has left. He's got a life elsewhere. You are here struggling. You are here crying, failing to eat, not sleeping. You're losing weight. It's not healthy. On the other side, this other person is eating, is rejoicing. He's working. He doesn't feel guilt about the things that he's doing. People are stuck in the denial process. Now, what we want to talk about, or what we want to look in this acceptance, how do we jump from this situation to the acceptance? As I've said, it takes a great deal of so many things. And then the second part of this conversation will again continue from this. How do I start moving on from a very difficult situation? Even including myself, I've come across, I've gone through difficult stages of my life, but acceptance is not as easy as it is. You become depressed even more. You even be stressed. There will be so many things that will go through your mind. But with time, indeed, people say time heals. But when you accept things the way they are, and when you go through the process, you find out that you will go and conquer it. Let me just say this before I end it, that sometimes, when you go to the hospital, they'll give medication, that some of the medication we chew them, all right, even without water, just chew it, it goes, nothing. But there's some medications, even your body cringes, but they just thought of taking that medication, it hurts. And the doctors sometimes say no. When they see us, they say, no medication that they will take through the mouth or the other side. We have medication that go through the other side. But this time, maybe the doctors will say they'll put the medication straight in our veins so that it goes straight in our bodies. They know the processes of us to go into healing. Now, we just want to see this. How best do we help ourselves, pick ourselves when everything else is failing? How do we accept things, and how do we accept situations? So keep on tuning into the Healing Conversations. And you were with me, your counselor, Catherine. Goodbye.